What is going on, YouTube? It's RJP back with a brand new video. As you can tell, we might switch it up a little bit and do a little bit of a vlog style video today. So I've been promising you guys basically a recap video from New York, and that's basically what I am starting here today. So just got off work just a few minutes ago. I'm actually going to the gym right now to get a good workout in. It's leg day. I don't mind leg day. A lot of people hate leg day. Leg day is not that bad to me. I don't know if it's from basketball. I don't know. I've never really minded leg day. So I'm going to the gym, going to get some legs in, and we'll be back with you guys here in a bit. So I guess a little bit about New York overall. Obviously, it's a very big city, as you probably already know. This was my first trip ever to New York City. Me and my wife went, obviously, after Christmas. It was January 5th through the 9th, I believe is what it was. It was a Sunday to Thursday. We just got back last Thursday. Can't even remember the exact dates. I did pick up quite a few things that I am going to show you in this video. You probably can see right now two things that I did pick up from Kith. Obviously, this hoodie and this beanie that I do have on. And I'm actually going to break down some of these items that I did pick up and do separate review videos on them. So I will be doing basically a review video on these Kith items a little bit later on in the week, or maybe early next week. I've got some sneakers to get reviews out for you guys, but as I said, just wanted to go ahead and give you this New York recap video overall, let you know my thoughts on New York, what I thought about it, and just basically if I would suggest going there, or some things that maybe I suggest you ought to do if you go to New York City. So first and foremost, I want to say that I had a whole lot of fun in New York. I'm already hoping, and me and the wife are already planning a trip to hopefully go back maybe later this year or early next year, whichever it may be, but we definitely want to go back to New York City. So that basically is going to tell you that we did like New York overall. If we didn't like it, we probably wouldn't want to be going back. So obviously you have tons of things to do in New York, whether it be shopping, tourist attractions, whatever it may be. We were kind of surprised at basically some of the stores. We knew that they were going to be huge stores, but it seems like almost every single store in New York is not a one-story store. Pretty much everything is 2 stories and above. So like, for example, as soon as we got to New York, we went and checked into our hotel straight off the airport, or straight out of the airport. We actually flew into Newark International Airport, which is in New Jersey. And if you don't know this, Allegiant is a cheaper airline, and it's offered quite a bit from where we actually live. Allegiant is offered quite a bit. So you may look into like Frontier, Spirit, Allegiant, but basically, to make a long story short, we were able to fly from a city about an hour from where we live straight into Newark International Airport, and it was basically $200 round trip for both of us. So for example, if we would have flew from our actual regional airport straight into JFK or LaGuardia through Delta, it basically would have been like probably $500 to $600 round trip per person. So we did get a really good deal on our actual flight, I guess you could say, and we did use Allegiant. And you know, I thought about doing an overall Allegiant review. I'm just going to say this: it was fine. We actually upgraded our seats to Legroom Plus, and we actually really like the flight. I've flown with Allegiant one other time, and we didn't get Legroom Plus, and it was a little bit tight. It was a little bit tighter than I remember than, say, like a Delta flight. But at the same time, as I said, it was a good flight overall, and we did really enjoy flying with Allegiant, and I will say that it won't be the last time for sure that we definitely fly with them. But we did go to Louis Vuitton basically straight after we got from the airport in Newark to New York City. We stayed in Times Square at Hilton Garden Inn, Times Square Central. Very nice hotel. We did really like that as well, and I would recommend staying there if you want to be in the Times Square area. Now, I will say this: obviously never experiencing or going to New York in the past, we obviously didn't know what to expect overall, but at the same time, we didn't know our areas that well, what was where. I do have some family. My little brother has been to New York City and Fifth Avenue, and he kind of gave us a breakdown, but he's also 16 years old, so he didn't know every single thing about New York overall, and it was a little bit different once we got there, able to, you know, maneuver around certain things. So hopefully I can give you guys some insights and some easier ways to get around the city a little bit. We used Uber a lot. We used the subway once, and it was actually like on our I would say second to last day there in New York, we actually only used the subway once, and I will say that the subway was not bad at all, and it also would have been a lot quicker, lot cheaper way to get around the city overall than using Uber the whole time. And that is my recommendation. I would definitely say to use the subway if you are able to or know your way around. That's definitely the easiest way to maneuver around the city. But so we went to Louis Vuitton. It was basically like 4 stories, 5 stories, 6 stories. I can't even remember exactly how many stories it was. That's my wife's specialty, is Louis Vuitton. She was going there to pick up a handbag that she wanted to get. It's pretty much sold out everywhere, and they restocked it. It was the on-the-go tote in the giant monogram print. Hopefully later on, maybe in the video, I can get you a picture of it if you want to see it. I'm going to try to get her to actually talk a little bit about Louis Vuitton and some of the designer stores on the video here in a bit as well. But as I said, guys, I know I told you that I was going to the gym already and that would be back in a bit, but I wanted to hop on here and let you guys know a little bit about New York overall. So now I actually am headed to the gym to get the leg workout in, and we will be back in a bit. So the leg workout was pretty good, a little bit tired overall, but I am going to try to make a little bit more of this vlog video as I'm headed home and to do some other items. Me and the wife are going to see a movie tonight, Bosses, or whatever it's called. She's wanting to see that, so I promised her I'd take her to see that, so we are going to do that tonight. But a little bit more about New York City. So as I said, basically Louis Vuitton was very cool. Nike was a really cool store. Sorry about that, guys. Actually, I'm trying to pay attention to the road, and it may be a little noisy at some points. I do drive a Jeep Wrangler with some mud terrain tires, so that is the reason for a little bit of road noise. But at the same time, we did go, as I said, to Louis Vuitton, Nike, several stores, designer and whatnot. Nike was really cool overall. The one in or off 5th Avenue is 6 stories, I believe it was, 5 or 6 stories. And overall, it was a really cool store. Had a basketball court inside, House of Innovation. You could see tons of things. I'm going to post some pics up here for you guys where you can see like some Kyries that were torn apart, where you can look inside of them and see kind of the tech and things like that. They had some customized stations where you could basically customize some sneakers and make them your own color and things like that. So it was a really cool experience overall in the Nike store. Actually didn't see a whole lot that I wanted to pick up. I mean, mostly it was general stuff that's pretty much on the shelves anywhere right now. But the day after, they were supposed to have restocked the Ray Gun Dunks. I'm not sure how true that was, but I did hear that. I actually didn't go back. I'm not a huge dunk collector. It's not something that I've ever really been super into. I do like them, and it's something that honestly I would like to collect, but already collecting Jordan retros and basically doing performance reviews and having to buy performance basketball sneakers overall, I just can't collect them all, if that makes sense. So I pretty much stick within my realms of what I like. But at the same time, those were supposed to have restocked. I really like the Adidas store on 5th Avenue. I did pick up some clothing items there. I got a hoodie as well as 2 t-shirts. I tried on the Harden Volume 4s. I was really wanting to pick those up while I was in New York City because honestly, no stores locally around here has the Harden Volume 4s. And I've been trying to pick up a pair to do a performance review for you guys on, but they didn't fit my feet correctly. It was like they were all too long in the length category, and in the width category, like for example, I'm a true 11 and a half. If you guys are subscribed to the channel, you probably already know that, but I am a true 11 and a half. When I tried on the 11 and a half, they were way too long, but they fit very well in the width aspect of the shoe. But when I went down to a size 11, they were a little bit fit a little better in the length, but they were still a little bit long. Like I honestly probably could have wore a 10 and a half, but the width was way too tight. So I decided against them. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to test them out or not. I may actually end up picking up a pair offline. I have a few gift cards still from Christmas, and I may pick them up with that and try them out. And if I don't like them, I can send them back or whatever if I can't get the correct fit. But I do want to bring you guys a performance review on those, and that's why I actually, as I said, planned on picking those up, but they just didn't work out. So Foot Locker in Times Square, I did actually really enjoy. Obviously, there's tons of Foot Lockers, Foot Actions, Champs. There's tons of your regular foot sites or foot stores, I'm going to call them, in New York City. I actually only went to Foot Locker and Champs in Times Square, and most people say that that's basically, I don't want to call them the worst two stores, but there's probably not going to be that great or limited of sneakers there. It's just going to be your general type stuff. But I was able at Foot Locker in Times Square to find a pair of LeBron 7 Christmas, and that is the only pair of sneakers that I actually picked up while I was in New York. But as I said, I was very happy to add those to my collection. I actually have a unboxing and review video already up on the channel of those actual sneakers, so if you want to check those out, you can definitely go ahead and look at that video. Champs, it was, let's see, Champs was it 3? Champs may have been 3 stories. I can't remember exactly. It was 2 or 3 stories, but I like the store overall. That's where I was going to pick up the Hardens because I did have, as I said, some gift cards to Champs, and I was going to get them from there, and I ended up passing on them because of the sizing and all that stuff. But overall, it was a nice store. I thought the Foot Locker store and the House of Hoops store in Times Square was a very nice store overall to me as well. Another store that I really enjoyed on 5th Avenue was Puma. The Puma store was really cool, very modern. I just liked the whole setup of the store overall. Actually didn't pick anything up because, you know, right now they've got the Puma Clyde hardwoods, they've got some Ralph Sampson stuff out, but honestly, the way that we packed, I wasn't able to buy a whole bunch of sneakers for the actual trip. There would have been no way to get them back home unless I threw the boxes away, and I wasn't one to throw all my boxes away to the sneakers that I picked up. So I didn't pick up anything in Puma, but as I said, it was a really cool store overall. I definitely, you know, honestly, on a scale of what my favorite stores were, for whatever reason, even though I didn't buy anything, I am a huge Puma fan. I do love their whole new basketball line overall in general. I really love the Clyde hardwoods. As you guys know, I have a performance review up on Sneakers Detroit website about the Clyde hardwoods. I really like those sneakers. I really like the Puma store overall. It was a lot of fun going in there, and as I said, it would be a store that I definitely look forward to going back to. So let's talk about a little bit of sightseeing and some certain things that we did while we were in New York City. They were offering like they have these double-decker buses basically where you can buy like city passes and hop on and hop off of the actual buses at certain stops and locations that they do stop at. So we ended up doing one of those tours, and basically they had a special, which, I mean, they were advertising it as a special. Maybe this is a normal price and they're just saying it's a special, but it was $39 for 2 days. Each person, so it ended up being like almost $80 for me and my wife, basically to hop on and hop off at tons of different locations. We ended up going to the Statue of Liberty and doing the actual tour came with a ferry ride that took us to the Statue of Liberty all around, gave us a tour of like the Brooklyn Bridge, tons of different things. I would definitely recommend New York City sightseeing tours, I believe is what the bus was called, but that's definitely something I would look into, and you're always welcome to DM me or message me on Instagram, as well as leave a comment in the comment section below here on YouTube, and I can get you the exact information or the name of the company that it was. But as I said, we did that with the Statue of Liberty. We also went to the World Trade Center Memorial, and that was very, very nice, very neat, very humbling, as well as an emotional experience. It's something that obviously I was alive for when the World Trade Centers were hit in 2001, and it's just something that every time I am reminded of that, it hits home hard. Not that I'm from New York or anything like that, but it's just something as an American that definitely bothers me still to this day. And it's one of those things that actually seeing it in person was just kind of like, it was so surreal, that I was standing in the area that those certain items and things that day happened. So that's definitely a place that I would love to go back to in the future, as I said, and I would recommend, if you're in New York City, that's somewhere that you just have to go and experience that for yourself. I can post, I'm going to post some pictures on here, as you can see, but at the same time, there's just nothing that can really describe that other than actually just being there in person. So another stop that we made on the hop-on, hop-off bus, if you want to call it, is we went to the Soho area, and there's also some really good shopping in Soho. You've got Tiffany & Company, Nike, Supreme is there, Bape is there, Kith Treats is there. There's tons of Urban Necessities. I believe Stadium Goods may be in the area. I didn't actually go there. I was really wanting to go there, and I forgot. That's one of those things, like, there was tons of places. I will say this about New York City overall: you have in your mind before you go, like, all these places you want to go to, all this stuff you want to do. But we were there for 4 days, and I swear I felt like if I'd stayed there for 20 days, I still couldn't have done every single thing that I wanted to do. There's just so much stuff to do. It's almost the only con that I would say about New York City is there's so much stuff to do. It's so difficult to do it all. So, as I said, there was tons of stores that I didn't get to go to that I wanted to. But while we were in Soho, we went to the Nike store. I actually, in some ways, I would say I kind of liked the Soho Nike store better than the Fifth Avenue store, but at the same time, there's just so much more overall at the Fifth Avenue store that I would have to go with the Fifth Avenue store overall. I feel like, though, I'm going to say this the best way I know how. I feel like the Soho Nike location is more of like a, you would have to know it was there, more of a, what am I trying to say? Not so much a tourist area. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a lot of tourists in the area, but at the same time, I feel like it's a Nike store that it's not so much touristy as the one on Fifth Avenue is. I feel like there was tons of people on Fifth Avenue that maybe just wanted to look around, see the innovation stuff, and that's really cool, don't get me wrong, but, you know, when you're there and you're trying to look around and see things, you know, it also makes it a little bit difficult. So if you're wanting more of an experience of just shopping, I would definitely say Soho is probably the better solution, but they also didn't have as much, in my opinion. So, like, for example, I don't remember them having the What the Jordan 4s, whereas the Fifth Avenue location did have the What the Jordan 4s, and I was thinking about picking those up, and I ended up not. As I said, after I got those LeBron 7 Christmas, I just basically, when we got back and saw the packing situation, we were like, you're not going to be able, you know, I'm not going to be able to buy any more sneakers. So I kind of just set in that I couldn't buy any more sneakers, and I bought some clothing and things like that. But overall, as I said, Soho was a cool store for Nike as well. The Bape store I really enjoyed. I was actually going to pick up a t-shirt, but they didn't have my size in the t-shirt that I wanted. They had, I'm normally a large in pretty much joggers or sweatpants as well as like t-shirts. But in Bape, for example, it runs a little small on me, so I usually get an extra large in their t-shirts, and I pretty much, as I said, picked out like 2 or 3 things that I really liked, but they either had a medium or a 2X. So the medium was way too small, and the 2X was just too big. I didn't like how it looked on me, so I ended up passing on everything at Bape. We didn't actually go to Supreme. I like Supreme, but I'm not a huge Supreme fan. It's not something that I've ever just really been into. Now, don't get me wrong, I have like some of the Supreme white undershirts and things like that, but at the same time, it's just something that I never really got into. But the highlight of my Soho trip was definitely Kith and Kith Treats. I've always wanted to go to Kith Treats, basically since I heard of them opening. I'm a huge Cinnamon Toast Crunch fan. I mean, huge Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You basically can't go into our house, or if you go into our house, you're probably never going to go into it, and we don't have Cinnamon Toast Crunch somewhere in the house. So Kith Treats was one of those things. As I said, it was very high on my list to go to while I was in New York. And Kith overall, as you can tell, I got a beanie as well as a hoodie, as I told you earlier in the video. And I just like the store overall. It's very modern. They had tons of sneaker selection. Tons of stuff overall. I just really like the store, and it's definitely somewhere that I would recommend going if you're in the, you know, looking for obviously Kith items as well as any streetwear type stuff. They have tons of different brands that they do carry, and I may leave a list or something like that for you overall. But as I said, Kith was a really cool store. I really enjoyed it, and that was probably my whole highlight of going to Soho overall. My wife did get a ring at Tiffany & Company in Soho, and as bad as this sounds, this tells you how crazy New York can be. So she got a little ring in Tiffany & Company, as I said, in Soho, but we actually forgot to go into the Tiffany & Company on Fifth Avenue. And the Fifth Avenue store is huge, especially compared to the Soho location. It's still good size in Soho, but at the same time, it's nothing compared to the Fifth Avenue location. So we actually didn't get to go in there. We did try to go in there. It was as soon as we got to New York, as I told you guys, we went straight to Louis Vuitton. And it is basically like right beside Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Company is, but they were actually closed on Sunday at the time that we were in the area on 5th Avenue. So we actually, as I said, kind of forgot just to go back to it, and she already picked up something from there in Soho, so there wasn't that much of a need, I guess, to go in there. But it would have been a cool experience overall, and as I said, it was a store, even for me, I actually wanted to go in there to Tiffany & Company on 5th Avenue, but as I said, it'll be something that we can look forward to or go back to in the very near future. So I'm headed right now to one of my favorite sneaker picture areas in the area that I do live in. And basically tomorrow is the Sneaker Army Fives Day, and basically with this being the year of the fives, the Sneaker Army is a group on Instagram that I'm in and have been for quite some time. We do challenges and things like that, make posts on certain days, whatever it may be, and with this being the year of the fives, they came up with the Sneaker Army Fives Day. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you definitely need to do so. My Instagram username is the exact same as my YouTube channel name, AirJP11, and it's spelled the exact same way as it is here on YouTube, so it is easy to find me over there on Instagram as well. So if you pretty much want to know some pros or cons of New York City overall, I would say some of the pros are basically you have pretty much every single store that you could imagine or ever want to go to, basically, to purchase anything. There's tons of food options. We definitely ate lots of pizza while we were there. I think we actually ended up eating pizza almost every single day while we were there. And a great recommendation for pizza if you are in the New York City area is Joe's. We really, really liked Joe's. We liked Pronto's pizza as well, but Joe's was definitely our favorite pizza place in New York City that we did eat at. You know, some more pros is obviously you do have just so much stuff to do that it almost makes it a con, as I said earlier, and I will get into the cons here in a minute, but you just have so much stuff to do overall. There's just never a dull moment in New York City, no matter what time of day, you know, overall that it is. So with pros, there's always cons as well, and as I basically already told you, the biggest con of New York City to me personally is pretty much that there's just so much stuff to do that you just can't do it all, where maybe you go somewhere else in a 3 or 4 day span or period of time that you can get a lot of stuff done and do all the things that you want to do in that city or that place or that area. But as I said, in New York City, that's really difficult to do overall. And then the other this is probably the biggest con to me, is everything's just super expensive. And what I mean by that is just food in general. So like for me, for example, me and my wife, let's say we go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast and get a chicken biscuit combo a piece. You know, you're looking at probably like $10, $11, $12, something like that. In New York City, we ate at Chick-fil-A and it was like $22, you know, for the same thing that we would get at home. So, you know, overall, everything is a little bit more expensive, whether it be food, clothes, whatever it may be. Everything is just a little more expensive. So overall, I would say that's the number one con for me, is just everything being a little more expensive. And then the number 2 con would be something that sometimes I wish I had the same problem of at home, is that there's just too much to do. And at home, I don't have that problem. There's never enough to do. So really, as I said, it's not something that I would even almost complain about. But, you know, if you're asking me, that should tell you how much that I really enjoyed New York City overall. Is that the biggest con that I have, other than stuff being expensive, is basically that there's too much to do. So I really want to thank everyone for tuning in today and checking out basically this recap video on New York City. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below, did you like this vlog type style of video, if you even want to call this a vlog type video. I guess it was more of just me driving in the car talking to you guys, but at the same time, just let me know, as I said, in the comment section below, if you enjoyed this style of video better than me maybe just talking to you in the sneaker room and going over sneakers or whatever it may be. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all your support, and as always, we'll be back very, very soon with some more sneakers. Peace.